All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Salute the Troops evening this evening. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin this concert the way every cowboy band concert begins. So please stand if you are able and remove cover as the colors are presented by Troop 162 of the Cathedral of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and the band plays our national anthem, followed by the Kansas State song, Home on the Range. Welcome to this Founders Day concert presented by the Dodge City Cowboy Band. This band traces its history back to 1879 when Chalkley Beeson first formed the group, which played at numerous locations around Dodge City and even performed for the inauguration of President Benjamin Harrison in 1889. Now there's a lot of folklore associated with the band, and one such story has to do with the director. Now I'm happy to see that Jacob Miller, director of the band, does not have a six-shooter tonight. A newspaper reporter in 1884 once asked the leader of the cowboy band, "What do you swing that six-shooter for?" To which he replied, "Well, it's my baton." "Is it loaded?" "Yes." What for? To shoot the first man that strikes a false note. As we celebrate America's 250th birthday this summer, the band will open with a great piece to set the mood for this patriotic season. Based on traditional American melodies, Yankee Doodle, When Johnny Comes Marching Home, and Shenandoah, this piece is entitled American Flourish. In early 1943, the newly built Dodge City Army Airfield was designated an Army Air Forces pilot school and was one of 3 B-26 Marauder training bases. It served in this capacity through World War II until 1945 when it was deactivated. The site served as the Dodge City Airport until the late 1950s. Next up, we salute this military history with a march entitled Military Escort, composed by Henry Fillmore. using his pseudonym Harold Bennett. Military Escort is generally regarded as one of the very best easy marches ever written. John Philip Sousa was reported to have told Fillmore, "Well, I wish I had that march had my name on it." Now here is Military Escort. Now nothing beats a parade, especially if it features a lot of flags. The band's next piece features 3 flag-waving tunes. Written by Stephen Bullock, this piece opens with "You're a Grand Old Flag," followed by "Hurrah for the Land of the Free" trio section of Sousa's "Stars and Stripes Forever," and finishes with a toe-tapping rendition of "Yankee Doodle Boy." Here is "Banners on Parade." Medley composed the next march during a 1902 train tour with his family band, Wheeler's Band of the Bellows Falls, Vermont. He became frustrated with the ending and tossed the composition in a bin. Members of the band retrieved it and secretly rehearsed the score in the baggage car. Begley was surprised when the band informed him minutes before the next concert that they would perform it. National Emblem became the most famous of all of his marches. Despite this, the composition did not make Begley wealthy, and he sold the copyright for $25. In the first strain, Begley incorporated the first 12 notes of the Star-Spangled Banner featured in the low brass and the woodwinds. Here is National Emblem. Next, the band presents a very a very recognizable patriotic song with a melody as beautiful as its name. America the Beautiful was composed by Samuel A. Ward, who was an organist and composer. The lyrics were written by Catherine Lee Bates, at first as a poem originally titled Pikes Peak, as a response to the amazing view that she witnessed from atop the mountain. We hope that you enjoy our arrangement by Robert W. Smith of America the Beautiful. This next march is a tune that you've all heard at every one of our concerts, only this time it isn't played like a chorale. James Barnes composed this piece to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Kansas Bandmasters Association in 2022. It was premiered in February 2022 by the KBA Kansas Intercollegiate Band at the KMEA Convention in Wichita. This march is special to Kansans because Barnes decided to use our beautiful state song, Home on the Range, as the trio and final section. When we arrive at the trio, see if you can pick out which instruments are playing the recognizable melodies. And now, here is Heart of America. This next piece is a wonderful melody of patriotic songs that are very recognizable. The band has had a grand old time playing so many wonderful patriotic songs and anthems this summer season in honor of our nation's 250th anniversary. In an American celebration by composer Larry Neek, you'll hear America the Beautiful, Star-Spangled Banner, Your Grand Old Flag, Taps, Battle Hymn of the Republic, and My Country 'Tis of Thee. In 1928, Henry Fillmore was conductor of his own 24-member band in Cincinnati, Ohio. They were performing a series of concerts at the Cincinnati Zoo when they performed this next march, and it is considered his best. Mr. Fillmore had difficulty finding a good title, and in its first performance, he called it the Cincinnati Zoo, and other times as Pure Food and Health. He realized it was one of his finest works, if not the best, and he waited until he had a good title before he published it. It was published later in 1929 as Americans We, and is dedicated to all of us. Here's Americans We. Next up, the band would like to salute our veterans with Armed Forces Medley by Jeremy Martin. This includes songs of the Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and Space Force. Now, if you're a proud veteran, please stand on your branch's song so we can honor and thank you. Now this is a new arrangement that now includes the Space Force March Sempre Supra, which means always above. And if you know the words to these service songs, please sing along. To our veterans and active duty personnel, we humbly thank you with Armed Services Medley. Now, no patriotic concert would be complete without this next piece. Sousa wrote this march on Christmas Day, 1896, while traveling home from Europe on an ocean liner, and he had just heard of the recent death of David Blakely, the manager of the Sousa Band. He composed the march in his head and put it to paper when he arrived in the United States. It was first performed on May 1st, 1897 in Augusta, Maine. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dodge City Cowboy Band with John Philip Sousa's masterpiece, Stars and Stripes Forever. The Dodge City Cowboy Band.
Miss Kitty. Sorry.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. Please remember that the band has one more performance for the 2026 season at next Saturday's Longhorn Cattle Drive. They'll be back in December with their annual Christmas concert. Good night.